of 7 billion people of this world, do you think God really sees us? Does He even notice us? Or does God really care? So if you try to read or search in the internet about this question, there's a lot of people saying that God is not real, or God does not care at all. So you try and search it, and you're gonna find out thousands of people think that God does not care of us at all. Maybe people are just basing it through their experience in their life and the things that they see around them. And some of them may be thinking about those innocent people being killed during the mass shooting, or people have been family problems, or people have, let's say, being... That there's one morning I woke up and got up from my bed, and the moment I stepped out outside my room, I saw a family having breakfast together. So they were so happy, 5 of them having breakfast. And my aunt was spoon-feeding them one by one. And my aunt was like, okay, this is for you. And my aunt again gets another scoop of rice and feed it to another child, and so on. So the moment I saw it, I hid again myself behind the door and cried and do self-pity. And one of my cousins saw my feet behind the door and called me. And they invited me to eat with them. So my aunt is very loving and caring to me, so I joined them, and I was very happy and felt that I have a family. All I can see before is I was like a ball being passed to one family to another, and I don't have a permanent address. And as a child, of course, I'm always hoping to have my own complete family. So when my father found another woman to love, I stayed with them. They took care of me, and my stepmom became my mother figure that I always wanted. So, but it's only when she's in a good mood, because most of the time they always fight with my father, and my stepmom always hit me. So it's very chaotic in our house, and most of the time at a very young age I saw violence and hatred around me. And most of the time when they fight, my stepmom get a knife and threatened us that she'll going to kill us, just to kill me. So just imagine how toxic was that, right? So even though I was a child, I started to ask, does God really care? So why does He allow these things to happen? So good thing my father gave me back to my grandparents again. So this childhood experience of mine made a great impact in my life as I was growing up. I learned how to have vices. And I was born Adventist, but not in my heart indeed. I was being active in church, and in the morning I am the pianist of the church, pianist of the choir. But in the evening, you will see me in the bar, having a party, drinking alcohol like tequila or smoking, and thinking that I'm living my life to the fullest. And in high school, I always skip classes because I'm addicted to video games. That's why I graduated 5 years in high school instead of 4 years. So I was very stubborn, and I'm not taking my life seriously. And I'm telling you this not because I'm proud of it, but it's a part of me confessing right now, but because I will reveal something great later. So I didn't have sense of direction. My life was a mess. Easy-go-lucky, come up May, enjoy now, suffer later. I do whatever I want to do, and not thinking how it would impact my life. So I can say that I was lost. So my heart is in the world, and I always had question to God. What would my life be, or what is my purpose in this world? I kept on asking God, what is my purpose in this world? Have you ever asked God this kind of question too? So that was the never-ending question I had in my mind before. And it also comes with the question, what I will do next. So, and I don't have enough reason to change my lifetime. I was too comfortable with my life back then, even when I started working, not until something happened to my grandfather. My grandfather is very precious to me. He was my father figure, my best friend, my mentor, my teacher in music, and he is very good, especially in music. So he was the one who taught me how to be in love in piano and in violin. And when he died last 2018, and it was the first term of my life. So that was the only time, the only first time I started thinking of what to do next and acted on it. So that was the time I decided to go to Thailand to work. So it was the most challenging part of me because I never lived my life alone. And because I'm always surrounded with my cousins, uncles, aunts, grandparents, father, and so that was the first courageous act I've ever done in my life. To be far away to everyone and started to be independent. So to cut the long story short, God blessed me with a job. So I worked as a music teacher, music and computer teacher in a private school. But it was very hard for me at the time because I never had experience in teaching. And I don't have any close family or friends around me there. I was literally living alone in my apartment, and I became so stressed, and I started again questioning God about my purpose. And everything flashed back, every pain, every loneliness, every wrongdoings, and emptiness came all together. And I have many things in my mind, and it causes me sleepless night due to overthinking. So until one day, one of my friends mentioned that there was a youth congress happening around, and most of the Adventist youth will go. So since I was single and ready to mingle, so I was glad hearing about it because I wanted to do something in myself than working and overthinking. So that time, Mr. Bandao was the Adventist Youth Association president, and he asked me, "Joel, can you be the pianist?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm happy to serve God." And at the time, he was dating Mrs. Bandao. And guess what? That was the time I first met the love of my life, Mrs. Importante. So she was there in front of me on the other side of the worship hall, being the tech support, and I know that the first time we met, she experienced what we call love at first sight. Let me rephrase that because as Adventists, we don't believe love at first sight. It's crush at first sight. Yeah. So regardless how stressed I looked at the time, so I will not elaborate our love story because it's a long one. But I will share how this led me to God's next twist in my life. So we've been getting to know each other for more than a year when she asked me to accompany her in the hospital because she's not feeling well. So we went there to the hospital for checkup. Then she suggested that I should have checkup as well so I can use my insurance because I never used my insurance before. I'm just paying for it, but I'm not using it. So I told her, why would I have my checkup? And at the time, I felt great and I didn't feel any sickness. And for me, that was the time that I feel that I'm very healthy because I always go to gym for workout every afternoon, and I play basketball in Thailand. We have a league in basketball. Yeah, so I don't feel any sickness in my body. So to make the long story short, I decided to have my checkup. But before that, I asked Mrs. Importante, what checkup do I have to request because I don't feel anything wrong in my body. So then I remember I have a little bit pain on my chest, but I knew that was because of my previous body massage. So it's like a muscle pain. So then I casually told the nurse that I have a little pain on my chest. So the nurse recommended me to get an x-ray. So since it is covered by my insurance, yeah, I agreed to it. And little did I know I was about to hear an unexpected and shocking news. So the doctor told us that there is a mass on my x-ray, and it's already 6.6 cm. And when I heard it, I didn't know what to think or feel, but I did not believe it. So we went home disregarding what the doctor said, but Mrs. Importante is always bugging me and insisting that I should get another x-ray to another hospital just to clarify it. And I was like hoping and praying that it was just a mistake. But to my surprise, my mass from 6.6 cm, it became 8.8 cm in just a month. So just imagine how aggressive my cancer was. In 1 month, 2.2 cm. So we went to another hospital where Mrs. Bandao is working. I had my CT scan and biopsy there. And after 2 weeks, the result came out and it was confirmed that it's really a cancer. So it is a diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, and it's actually stage 2. And it is a high-grade and very aggressive cancer. So my family and I decided that I should go home to Philippines to get my treatment. And it's easier for me because I have there my family way back home. But before I went home, I asked Mrs. Viduya, and now Mrs. Importante, to be my girlfriend. And of course, she said yes. And so we had each other as officially in a relationship for a week before I went back home to the Philippines. So there I undergone 8 cycles of chemotherapy and 19 cycles of radiation therapy. So here are some pictures during my treatment. So that's inside the radiation room and chemo room. So during the treatment, I experienced hair loss. So look at the video. So it's like I'm picking a flower, right? So I'm going to have my haircut there. And after that, I became bald. So as what you can see in the picture, I look like Mona Lisa, right? Look at my eyebrows, it's like falling apart. Yeah, I also experienced body aches, dizziness, and muscle weakness. And it's so depressing seeing my face like that. And this experience gave me another time to think more about my life. So looking back, I only saw negative. Everything that God didn't give me. But because of what happened, I had a lot of realizations. I just realized that only through hardships and battles and struggles in this life could teach us precious lessons and will make us appreciate and see that God really cares for us. Like what the Bible says in 1 Thessalonians 5:18, it says, "Be thankful in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you who belong to Jesus Christ." I never questioned God why He gave me a cancer. I learned that God sometimes allows things to happen just to test us and to remind us that we really need Him. He taught me how to submit and fully trust in Him. In 2 Corinthians 4:15 says, all this is for your benefit, so that the grace that is reaching more and more people may cause thanksgiving to overflow to the glory of God. So I know that this hardship is for my own benefit. Because of this, I started to be more connected to God, being more dependent on Him, longing for more alone time with Him, reading more of His words, His promises, and this experience and realizations changed my heart. I started to appreciate life. That's when I started to look back and see how blessed I was the entire time. So back then, I only saw God has taken everything from me. But I missed appreciating how He supplied all of my needs. Yeah, I have a broken family, I had cancer. But I have my uncles, aunts, family, and friends always being there for me. I was finally able to open my heart to God and be vulnerable to Him. And that's the time when I started opening my eyes to the things that are more important in life. Then I found my purpose. I started to have plans in life. I started to have real dreams for me and for my future family. I started to realize that those temporary worldly things can never fix the hole in my heart. But it's the love of God can make me full. Maybe most of you or some people see cancer as a curse, but for me, it was a blessing and it was a cure. A great cure for my loneliness, emptiness, being lost, and it gave me sense of direction. Because of my experience, I was able to minister to other cancer patients. I gave them encouragement, pray for them, and share the things that I've learned that only Jesus Christ can give you hope and contentment in life. Amen. I also found out that God still has a plan for me because after a year, I got finally cleared with cancer. So those pictures you can see in the screen is actually the last day of my radiation treatment. So it's been almost 2 years since I finished my treatment, and hopefully next month I will have my CT scan again, and I hope God will give me good news again. And even if not, I'm not scared because I know that God is in control. I can finally say that God really cares for me and prepare every single detail of my life. So just imagine how He prepared all the steps on how He revealed my cancer to me. From the time He sent me to Thailand, to the time my friend told me about the Youth Congress, as I have met Mrs. Importante, whom God used to reveal my cancer, and how He helped me to discover it in an early stage, and chose a highly curable type of cancer, and how He provided all my needs during my treatment. And a bonus, I get a chance to get married and experience to have my own family. With our baby, of course, that is coming soon. So despite of all toxic drugs and radiation therapy, it's a miracle for us to have a baby. So like what Jesus said in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." So maybe some of you have the same question as mine. Does God really care? All I can say to you is just cast your care to God. As what the Bible says in 1 Peter 5:7, just talk to God and He will surely listen to you and cares for you. So if you think that sometimes you are alone and feeling empty because maybe you have a broken family, or your parents abandoned you, or your friends befriended you, or you feel outcast, or you feel you're not enough, or whatever reason, or you feel like the world is against you, don't forget that there is a loving God that is always there for you whenever you need help. And He has a great promise to you that is found in Isaiah 41:10, and it says, "So do not fear, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand." Just like the song says, if He did all this for me, I know that He can do it all for you. So before I end my sermon, I would like to invite the praise team to sing the closing song, "Jesus can do it all for you."